Furman will be the host, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. For Steve Phillips, I'm Reese Davis. Here comes bowling.
All of the PBA's 20 events are dramatic, exciting, and important, but nothing beats a major. Opening day at Miller Park in Milwaukee saw a big crowd for the ABC Masters. Danny Wiseman was the top seed and proved he deserved it. He came out of the gates with 8 straight strikes and crushed Patrick Allen in the final. For Wiseman, career victory number 11 was major number 1. I got it! I got it! Yeah! In February, it was on to North Brunswick, New Jersey for the 62nd U.S. Open. Patrick Allen again battled through the field, beating Mika Kurbunemi in a sudden death roll-off to advance to the title match. What do you think about that? There, Chris Barnes stared at a life-changing shot and struck. With a single pin spare on his last shot, Barnes, too, was a first-time major winner. Yes! 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 Last week's World Championship was a David versus Goliath battle. The Eastern Michigan University Convocation Center played host to Patrick Allen, bowling for the title in his 3rd straight major, taking on 24-year-old Chris Loshitter. While Loshitter tried to earn his way on the PBA Tour, PA refused to will. The 3rd time was the charm, and Patrick Allen had finally won his first major. Who will survive the pressure this week? We find out next. What a scene we have for you here in Connecticut. At the Mohegan Sun Resort Arena, the largest paid attendance of the season is here to watch the PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions. The winner of today's tournament earns big prize money and a multi-year exemption. Now our 4 finalists are ready to roll.
Go, Bryan. The 1998 Tournament of Champions winner. He has 10 career PBA titles. Today he looks to make that number 11 and get his PBA Tour card back. From Shawnee, Kansas, Bryan Goebel.
Go!
From out of nowhere, Bryan Goebel makes his triumphant return to PBA competition. He was within a game of elimination twice in his 3 matches, but persevered and is here today.
A 6-time titleist who clinched his exemption for next season with a stellar run last week at the World Championships. From Yorkville, Illinois, Steve Jaros.
Confidence is key, and Steve Jaros has found his. Last week, he worked his way into an exemption for next season. Can he make it 2 seasons this week?
His 13 titles include the 1987 PBA National Championship. His day job is bringing you expert analysis from the ESPN TV booth. But today he trades his microphone for his bowling shoes. From Claremont, Florida, Randy Pedersen.
A runner-up here last season, Randy loves the big setting in the arena. Can he continue to be mentally tough as he has all week and hoist his 2nd major trophy?
Another Claremont, Florida resident. His resume includes 22 titles, 2 PBA Tour majors, and a pair of PBA Player of the Year awards. Norm Duke.
As solid as they come on the PBA Tour, Norm is fearless. He lost only 1 game on his way to today's show. With 2 more wins, he can win his first major since 2000.
These are your finalists for the PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions at Mohegan Sun.
Hello and welcome everyone to Connecticut. It's our 4th major, our final regular season telecast of PBA bowling here on ESPN. But far beyond that, 2 of our 4 finalists today are battling for their very careers. A win today and nothing short of that means they regain their coveted PBA Tour card and get a 2-year tour exemption. So what is all on the line today? Well, we'll find out. $100,000 goes to the winner this afternoon here in Connecticut. In addition to the spot in the Motel 6 Roll the Riches presented by Geico next week in Texas, a winner-take-all $200,000 event and that coveted 2-year exempt status on the PBA Tour. PBA Tour Hall of Famer Brian Voss joins us again here in the booth. That's because Randy Pedersen is bowling, and we're glad to have you back, Beav, with us here today. You know a little bit about the pressure Randy Pedersen and Bryan Goebel are facing. Their very careers are on the line today.
So much at stake for these players. Bryan Goebel, he's not an exempt player. He won't be exempt next year. He feels like this is his last opportunity to prolong what's already an outstanding career. And Randy Pedersen, we saw him finish second last year. He was in tears last night, thinking of what it would mean to win this event. He loves bowling. He's a competitor, and I tell you what, he wants this one really bad.
Brian, let's check in with the matchups. Our four-man field today here in Uncasville.
Semi-final number one pits veteran Bryan Goebel, whose last win came in 2003 at the Medford, Oregon Open, and Steve Jaros, who looks to reach his first ever major title match. In the second semi, Randy Pedersen trades his spot in the announcing booth for a shot at his second major title as he takes on Norm Duke, who can beat Ty Mee for 8th all-time with a title today.
We'll see if that happens, Brian. Now let's head to the third member of our crew, Laneside, to interview the first two semifinalists. Here's Leslie Goodell.
You know, Dave, Steve Jaros got off to a rough start this year, but he's really turned things around in the last month. And we asked you yesterday how you turned things around, and you said, I don't know, I got good all of a sudden. How do you stay good today?
Well, I think the important thing is to stay focused. You know, we were fortunate enough to have a couple weeks off in between tournaments toward the end. I was able to kind of gather everything together and focus on what I needed to do. Fortunately, it worked out great the last 2 weeks, and this would be a great cap to the season.
Well, Bryan Goebel, you didn't qualify for the exempt tour this year. You essentially took the year off. So I don't know how else to ask this, but how'd you get here today?
Well, a little luck and a whole lot of prayer. That's it. I'm happy to be here. Lucky. I'll take the luck.
All right, Brian, thanks. He's got a lot to think about if he wins today, Dave, because the two-year exemption, he's really enjoyed spending the time with his family that he's gotten to spend with them this season.
Leslie, that is a big question with Bryan Goebel. He comes to us from Shawnee, Kansas, near Kansas City. His wife, Kelly, and daughter, Lauren, 12 years old, a softball ace, we're told. Bryan has been coaching his daughter, playing softball himself competitively, and taking time off from bowling, just competing in the 4 majors. What a story between these two. A few weeks ago, we weren't sure if Steve Jaros would be exempt. Now he is, but barely. And the 2005 Dexter Tournament of Champions is underway. A perfect shot from Steve Jaros.
Better opening shot than the last show.
Bryan Goebel won the coin toss, elected to have Steve Jaros start the match, which means he'll finish the match. Great way to start for Steve.
Brian, at 43 years old, is the oldest of our 4 bowlers today. Randy Pedersen is 42. Norm Duke is 41. And Steve Jaros, as we saw, 39. So an older set. Very experienced. That looks a little high, but sneaks into the pocket. Bryan Goebel with that silky smooth, very deliberate delivery. Brian leads us to the first Baby Ruth real deal matchup.
Yeah, we look at the averages. Steve Jaros averaging more than 10 pins better than Bryan Goebel. Will it make a difference today?
.830 days. It has been a long time for Bryan Goebel. And it was a win as well. The 2002 Medford Open, Medford, Oregon. Yeah! 2 great shots to start the day for Bryan Goebel, who has won just $12,700 this year on tour. That's it.
Just a real beautiful shot from Bryan Goebel. Gets out of the gates real strong. Great mental game from this player.
Extraordinary story continues for Bryan Goebel. Will he earn the exempt status? And as Leslie said, what will he do? Told us yesterday, perhaps I'll bowl in 12 of the 16 mandatory events. We'll see. Jaros is in the pocket as well. He's got a good path as he knocks down all 10 into the pit.
Both players off to a great start. Half hit, blows the 5. We're all even after 2.
Steve Jaros, his wife June, twins Evan and Hannah are back home near Chicago, Yorkville, Illinois, in Chicagoland. And they turn 6 years old next month, so potentially an early birthday present from Dad. Coming your way, guys. Great look from Skycam. We're so pleased to have that superb technology with us today. Our final major of the 2004-2005 season.
What a story we have here. These two players, Steve Jaros, didn't know 4 weeks ago if he was going to be exempt. The pressure's relieved. He's feeling good.
Can we stay perfect? Steady head. That's high.
Early trouble for Bryan Goebel. Well, we're going to see him probably miss about a board left, but the lanes break down early. Leaves the big four with the 3-pin. He knows it's a bad shot. 5 is not what you want to see.
How does he make this one, Brian?
Well, he's going to have to get it over, slide the 3-pin over into the other 2 pins. Not to be.
4-7 remaining up for Bryan Goebel. First open of our Dexter Tournament of Champions. How did Bryan Goebel get this far after he knocked off David Ozio in the round of 32 in 5 games? Got by Mike Devaney, also in 5. To the max he went against the fellow right-hander. Stayed hot against the Player of the Year candidate Patrick Allen. Down 0-2, rallied for a 3-2 win. Bryan Goebel had a 750 over the last 3 games. Patrick Allen called it the most incredible thing he's seen beyond the Tour Trials last year. A solid number 2 in terms of amazing events.
Well, this is a guy who's fighting for his life right now. He needs to fight a little bit harder and get back in this match, and he does with a strike. 4th frame very early.
Nice rally from the open. You always want to have that open if you have to deal with it, Brian, early in the match.
Bryan Goebel, one of the freest arm swings out here on tour. He freed it up during all that time back at home. This is one of the many great shots that he's made in his career. Nice steady head.
The storyline for H, folks, just phenomenal. For Steve Jaros, who was top 10 last year. When it turns.
Is he going to hit it?
Almost.
Something you won't see very often, folks. A solid 5 from a touring player.
And the paralyzing 5 stays up.
Well, we say back home, no drive, no 5. But he almost gets lucky. The head pin comes out, circles around it. Not to be. 5-pin should have no problem.
So the question is, how possibly did a player who was 9th on the PBA Tour list last year barely squeak in? He is exempt for next year, but 38th of the 39 spots. That's how close it was for Steve Jaros on a close shave to get in. The points list went to Patrick Allen. This is final, folks, for the season. No points awarded today here at the PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions. Chris Barnes, Danny Wiseman, the top 3, all won majors this year. And don't forget, speaking of majors, Duke has 2 in his career, and our Randy Pedersen, semifinal number 2, that is coming up. 2 Claremont Floridians. They live about 15 minutes apart. They are best of friends, golfing buddies back home. They face each other today. Jaros talks his way into a strike.
Real pretty shot there from Steve.
What, in your opinion, went wrong with Steve Jaros this year?
Well, when you have a year like last year, he won 3 times. It was a stellar year for him. You know, I think you tend to relax a little bit. You forget about all those hard work ethics that got you there. I've seen it many times.
6th on the money list, a career best 5 TV shows, and 3 wins Brian mentioned last year for Steve Jaros.
A really big shot for Brian. Needs to get back in this match.
To the frame, works on a strike. That was high right off the release. It's the big 4. And as we know, Brian Voss, it's only been converted once ever on TV this year by Walter Ray Williams Jr.
That is just double disaster. 2 times in a row on this right lane. You're not only opening frames, but you're losing a lot of count. He's just going to
try to kick the 6-10 across the deck to the 4-7. Can't do it. Another open frame that could be deadly for Bryan Goebel, who told us last night how frustrated he was at not making the PBA Tour. He went through the trials near Chicago, Maryville, Indiana last June. Was not in the top 8 this year. Tour Trials will award the top 10 with a spot on the exempt tour for next season. He does not want to return to Tour Trials.
Get his composure. He can still shoot 217. Steve Jaros working at a 2-teen pace, so it's not over yet. Spare percentage, 90, right around 95%, 37 out of 39. That's a very good stat.
This is a bowler who actually was just bowling 3 games a week, folks, during the regular season. Only competed in the 4 majors. That was it. A league bowler and a 10-time title is Bryan Goebel, but now he is back with a chance to win a major championship. When we come back, we'll break down the oil pattern and talk more about this exciting semifinal, the TOC underway. From the Mohegan Sun Casino, the PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions on ESPN is brought to you by Dexter, the #1 bowling shoe in the world. What's your size? By Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. By Motel 6, the official lodging partner of the PBA and lowest price of any national chain. And by Odor Eaters with unique Zorbatex technology, destroys foot odor and absorbs sweat on contact. This extraordinary hotel and casino, created in 1996, a 34-story hotel, 1,200 luxury guest rooms, over 175 suites. It is something. Brian Voss, let's check in with our special TOC oil pattern, 50 feet long.
This week's pattern designed specifically for this Tournament of Champions. We're going 51 feet this week. Most of the players start around the 7th or 8th board, but remember, there's only 9 feet of back end this week, so the players look for that early hook in the lane. They're all going to be just inch and left as the day goes on. Tough pattern. Bryan Goebel right now, the right lane has just destroyed him. 2 huge open frames. Steve Jaros, on the other hand, striking all 3 times. I think if I were Bryan Goebel, I'd watch his line. What's he doing on this right lane? Now, as a player, when you're in this position and your opponent has got 2 open frames, you want to close the door early. And this is the way to do it.
Big lead here. Works on a strike. Another for Steve Jaros. In the round of 32, he got by U.S. Open champ Chris Barnes in 4. Then the round of 16, he KO'd Jason Hurd, ending his season 3-0. Hurd went down. Round of 8. Last night knocked out Mika Koivuniemi, did Steve Jaros in a tight match. Mika needed a double in the 10th. Failed to strike in the first ball, so Steve made his 2nd show in the last 3 telecasts. We saw him in Grand Rapids a couple weeks back as well, where he did not win. Lost to eventual champion Tommy Jones. Jones winning his 4th tour title in 4 TV appearances. Jaros would love #1 here today. With shots like that, he may be en route. He is dialed in, Brian.
2 beautiful shots. 2 beautiful shots. This looks like a repeat of the shot he threw just before, just high flush. He's now on a 230 pace. The most Bryan Goebel can shoot is in the 2 teens. Steve knows if he just stays clean, he'll be bowling for that title.
Steve Jaros has never won a major, folks. Last time he was in a major TV show, the 2002 ABC Masters in Reno. You see the max numbers. Can Bryan Goebel rebound from the opens? That's one way to do it.
Mathematically, he's not out of it yet. You never know in this game. He can still shoot 217. It would force Steve Jaros to not open 2 times.
Bryan very active, as we said, coaching his young daughter in softball. An active player himself. As we see the tour exempt list for next year, folks, as things stand right now. This is an alphabetical list. You will see some players from the regional level who have earned exempt status as well.
And that was to have any chance whatsoever to win this match. He stays alive. He's going to make Steve Jaros show up.
Major Mika Koivuniemi, Rick Lawrence, left-hander who won this year on tour, made back-to-back shows. Your buddy Mike Machuga, all exempt for next year. Right now, Torrey Torgerson, folks, is the last exempt bowler. He's number 39 of 39. Ball at the cut line. No late help for number 7 for Steve Jaros.
Well, he barely got the 5 out that time, leaving only the 7. No problem. Steve, a very deliberate player. Raises up a little bit at the line, but he's done that his whole life, and he's done it very good. Wiggles the 7 pin a little bit, but not enough to knock it over.
Takes care of the 7 pin. Don't forget, our season isn't quite over yet, folks. ESPN's coverage of PBA bowling rolls on next weekend. The Motel 6 Roll to Riches, presented by Geico. A new high-stakes winner-take-all competition featuring 6 PBA Tour All-Stars. The winner walks away with $200,000. That Saturday show, 1 Eastern, the challenge round, the finals, 3 Eastern. That's all coming up this weekend on ESPN. So the PBA excitement continues, despite the fact our regular season is over.
Now, with any kind of a fill here in the 9th frame, a spare or a strike, Steve knows he's going to advance to this next match. Title match. And he gets it.
Late help indeed for Steve Jaros. And another strike for him, and he has stayed so clean in this match.
See, very smooth. We see him raise up just a little bit at the end there. He knows that one right there, that it's going to get him to the title match.
"21 events for Steve Jaros without a win. Last season. His 3rd and final of that year in Indianapolis. 7-pin up there for Bryan Goebel. Was at an unbelievable run.
Never held like it did always. Just didn't hold.
As you know, Brian Voss, there are changes. I just heard Brian mentioning the oil and the carry. There are adjustments with the lights and TV oil, and Steve Jaros has officially clinched a semifinal win.
Well, we went 51 feet this week, but it was a low volume of oil, so the lanes changed quickly. We're going to watch a little slow motion here. There's Steve Jaros. Look how close they're playing, right next to each other. That creates a little uncertainty for some of you veteran players out there and what the lanes are doing. They're real close to each other. Well, at this point, Brian knows that his career is in jeopardy. I think he just wants to go out in style.
3 weeks in a row, Brian has met with PBA name Bob Glass, and oil condition made up as well, and worked very hard to get himself back into high-level playing shape. Really an amazing story, Brian, for someone who has not competed on events except for the majors all year long to get this far.
You know, your heart goes out to a guy like this. He was on tour for many, many years. He's won 10 tournaments. He won this tournament back in 1998, and he really, really felt he belonged out here. Of course, there's a chance that he might do the tour trials, but Brian's one of the great nice guys out here on tour.
4-pin up for Goebel. Will fast track to the end here. Steve Jaros has never even bowled for a major championship. He has appeared, as we've said, in major TV shows before.
Thank you. All right.
In 94 and 2000, Steve Jaros made the TV show in those Tournament of Champion events. Finished 5th and 4th place, respectively.
Thank you.
That will change certainly today. He's got 2nd wrapped up. He's into the final. And the dream turnaround in the last several weeks of the year continues for Steve Jaros as he makes 2 of the last 3 TV shows on the PBA Tour, Grand Rapids.
You know, you can say what you want about people who have won, about confidence, but Mo, he has got some momentum.
One more game.
Our Randy Pedersen is in action for the first time all year on TV. First time since last year's TOC. In the semis, Jaros a winner.
Beat online from Time Warner Cable.
Spectacular hotel and resort complex featuring 29 restaurants, 30 fine shops and boutiques, and a world-class arena, home of the Dexter Tournament of Champions this year again. Hey, Brian Voss, Leslie Goodell with you here, watching these matches. Steve Jaros has taken care of Bryan Goebel. Norm Duke, Randy Pedersen, the 2nd semi to follow. We just saw Steve win his semi match against Bryan Goebel. Ever wonder what the best decision he ever made was? Randy Pedersen, in his announce role, caught up with him in this week's Miller Six-Pack.
What's the one place in the world you'd like to see for the first time?
I'd love to go to Australia. I've heard great things about it. It's a beautiful place to visit. And unfortunately, you know, with all the travels that I've done, I haven't got to see too many different countries. So that would be one place I'd really like to see.
If you could have dinner with any 3 persons, living or deceased, who would they be and why?
I think probably, you know, a couple of them sports related. I'd love to sit down with somebody like Michael Jordan and Tiger Woods. I'd have to throw my father into that too. He passed away, you know, 12 years ago, and it'd be kind of cool to just sit down and have a nice dinner again.
What's the smartest thing you ever did?
I'd say the smartest thing I've ever done right now is having children. Totally a life-changing experience, and you kind of get to relive your childhood again through them, so it's been fantastic.
What is the one thing that you do that takes your mind completely off of bowling?
I think the few times that I get to actually go out and play golf, it probably just gets me away from the world a little bit, and I get to spend 4 hours outside getting sunburned and swearing while I'm trying to find my golf ball, but, you know, it takes me out of reality for a few hours.
What is the most expensive item of clothing you've ever purchased for yourself?
I just bought a pair of sunglasses I spent $160 on. That was basically because I've always worn glasses my whole life and never had a pair of sunglasses that were not prescription. Had LASIK surgery done earlier this year and thought, hey, I need sunglasses, and I didn't know they cost that much, but I could have done good with the $20 ones from Walmart. But
what is your all-time favorite line from a movie?
One that sticks out in my head a little bit is from Fast Times with Spicoli. Dude, that's my skull, I'm so wasted. I can't identify with that, but it was funny to watch.
Many more sunglasses potentially in Steve Jaros' future if he wins the $100,000 today or gets himself to the Motel 6. Roll the Riches presented by Geico. Main event entertainment coming up this week. Fort Worth, Texas. Our two broadcasts, the challenge and final rounds on Saturday and Sunday. And the PBA Tour Trials. That's May 31st through June 5th. Stardust Bowl 2 near Chicago. It has been a great week here in Uncasville, Connecticut. So much pageantry. Thursday night here at the Mohegan Sun, the annual draw party took place with Commissioner Fred Schreier determining our 32 bowler field. And thanks to the help of President and CEO Steve Miller, 2 legendary bowling writers were inducted into the PBA Hall of Fame.
I feel that the luckiest guy on this planet must be yours truly.
An unforgettable day for Matt Fiorito and Mort Luby Jr.
Nearly every minute, a woman dies from a heart attack or a stroke. If your doctor says you're at risk, Bayer Women's Plus Calcium can significantly reduce your risk. Be sure to talk to your doctor before you begin an aspirin regimen. The more you know, the more you trust Bayer.
Connecticut, alongside the Thames River, the spectacular facility pays tribute to the Mohegan Indian tribe known as the Wolf People. Inside, PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions, Bryan Goebel and Jaros. Jaros through, trying to get his first ever major championship. Pedersen, Duke to follow the other semifinal. They're both joined by Leslie Goodell.
Well, it's a shorter format than in most majors, so physically and mentally the bowlers are sharp. But Norm, how much does strategy play a part in how you bowl today?
Well, it has been playing a very big part because you bowl 3 or 4 games against the same guy. The pattern is so long that we have to use a big bowling ball, and it just sucks all the oil up. So you're moving every shot, even if it's a good one and a perfect one, you still have to make an adjustment. So it's taxing.
Well, Randy Pedersen lost in the finals of this very tournament last year, but there's a lot more at stake for you. A win today could actually change your future. How are you holding up?
I'm holding up fine. My ball reaction didn't hold up real well in practice, and I played him pretty straight and firm from out, and I'm going to have to play in. Norm struck every ball. I was struggling to get my ball to the pocket, so I've got my work cut out for me.
All right, thanks, Randy. He told us that yesterday he wasn't going to be able to play the lanes the same way he did all week, so he said he's going to have to execute like never before. Dave?
So, Brian, what about that? A little bit of change of strategy for Randy Pedersen today.
Well, when you're playing a match and there's 3 other guys on the pair, they're breaking the lanes down. You know, as we said earlier, 51 feet of oil, but it's a light volume. That means they change real quickly. And Norm, what he was alluding to is he's anticipating the lanes changing. He's making the move before it forces him to move.
How unusual was that to see Randy being interviewed instead of doing the interviewing? Our ESPN broadcaster is now competing on TV again. And he's got a 6'10" to contend with. He was brilliant leading up to this final match.
Well, he's a little bit confused right now. We still get right around the 12th board, goes high, fortunate, just to leave the 6'10". Sometimes you don't know. Only the player knows if it was a good shot. You don't know if it's the lane changing or the player making a bad shot. But certainly happy he left just a 6-10.
Looks for his mark. Has it. Keep in mind, folks, Randy must win today. Just getting to the final against Steve Jaros is not good enough. He needs a championship for a 2-year exemption and the $100,000. And as you mentioned, top of the broadcast, Brian, he was so emotional about trying to get that tour card back. It means so much to Randy. Norm Duke, you're a good buddy as well. Already has his exempt status for next year, not only with a ranking, but with a victory in Atlanta. 10-pin.
Well, this would just be another feather in Norm's cap. He's had a great career. He knows how much this means to Randy, but it's game on when these guys shoe up. It's all business. And there's Norm's mother, Martha, a wonderful woman, here to support her son, Norm.
She has come from Tyler, Texas. Same hometown as Earl Campbell, the legendary UT running back, Houston Oiler. 10-pin for Norm Duke. Leading us, Brian Voss, to the Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup.
Well, look at these stats. Randy Pedersen averaging 241. Norm right about the same, 237. Strike percentage very close. Bear percentage very close. Look at these stats. It should be a very close game.
Norm has won 2 major championships in his career. PBA National, which is now the World's, and he has won the Tournament of Champions. See the high ranks this week. Good numbers for our Randy Pedersen. We got a field of 33, a roll-off between 3 bowlers to get to 32, and then just best of 5 matches. So much different format than we've faced all year. First time all season we've seen best of 5. Norm Duke looks good.
Very pretty shot there from Norm. Norm, who won the coin toss and forced Randy to start and also finish on what appears to be his tough lane, right up about the 9th board. You see that. Do finish with the fist in the air. Now Randy, on the right lane, said he didn't like it in practice. Let's watch.
That's better. For Randy Pedersen, what a week it's been. 9-2 match play record, including a 3-0 sweep of fellow Orlando resident Jason Couch in the round of 32. Then Hall of Famer Parker Bohm III was the next victim. Back-to-back wins over lefties in 4 games this time. Last night, round of 32 dispatched of Brian Schaefer in 4, playing to the crowd. Boy, was he pumped up. A very emotional moment for Randy, who was in tears after he got himself to television. So Norm does some handiwork. Keep in mind, folks, that Randy Pedersen was not even in this event until Tuesday of this past week. Pete Weber had the spot. Pete has an injury to his shoulder, thankfully not a torn rotator cuff. He will be back next year. Surgery not required. Randy got the nod Tuesday afternoon, about 3:30 Eastern time. Had a zip up here to Connecticut to get ready. And here he is on the show, 1 victory away from the final to face Steve Jaros.
Nice little love tap on the 10 there. Well, we're going to watch him hit about the 12th board, but he made a good shot, knew he had a chance. Takes an early 10-pin lead.
Just reinserted into that lineup. He was knocked out when Amleta Monticelli won in Akron back on February 13th. And I was next to Randy in the booth, of course, when that happened. He wasn't very pleased about it. Norm Duke's path. Let's check that out. Round of 32, knocked off Richie Allen. Then in the round of 16, Player of the Year candidate Tommy Jones went down, who is a 4-time winner on tour. That was a 5-gamer. In the round of 8, the Chief Brian Himmler fell 1 match shy of returning to the TOC show for a 2nd straight year. Duke dispatched him in 4 games to make the TV show again. Just to put this all in perspective, how close of friends are Norm and Randy? We talked about proximity. They're both in Claremont, Florida, outside Orlando, 25 minutes from the gates of Disney World. They're golfing buddies. They played this week.
Well, whoever wins this match, you can probably bet that the strokes given by one or the other will change.
I would think so. Been a great year for Norm Duke. Ouch. However, I'll split to deal with here.
Trouble on the left lane, the 2-4-10. It looks like he just missed it. I mean, he didn't even quite catch it all with his fingers. He knew it right away. And he let go of that. Just hoping he don't do exactly what he did. 2-4-10. He's going to have to get the ball over to the 2-pin.
Spare the sweat, buddy.
Slide the 2-pin. He's going to have to just barely catch the 2-pin here, slide it over into the 10. Norm, one of the best shooters, spare shooters and split shooters we have on tour.
Can he convert?
He's got a chance.
Yes, he does! That is a huge split conversion for Norm Duke.
And Norm told us in his interview he was practicing spares for hours when he went home. Just perfect, textbook. That's why you practice spares, folks.
He put himself, he told us during the practice, Brian, this past week, in pressure-packed situations. Mentally placed himself in a scenario where he'd need to make a big shot, and that was a perfect example of that. Boy, did that come through. Chance for a turkey for our Randy Pedersen, 4th frame. Has it.
Beautiful shot there by Randy on what he said was his tough lane. As of now, he's perfect 2 times. Once again, right around the 12th board, running it out, knows it's a good shot. 13-pin lead early. Ended to 23 with a strike here.
Looks for a 4-bagger. 5th frame for him. Did not watch last night against Ryan Schaefer. Couldn't do it. We see his arena numbers are outstanding. He was turning away and saying a little prayer, pointing to the ceiling last night for Dick Weber. Firmly believes as he balks there.
I heard something sound like camera.
Okay.
Click.
He'll reset here. Firmly believes, Brian, that things that have happened in the Weber family between the passing of the legend Dick Weber and then Pete's injury have a lot to do with him being here.
Yeah, Randy has a lot of respect for not only Pete, for his father Dick, as we all did, but Pete's been calling him up daily, congratulating him, and probably rooting him on right now.
Text messages coming from Pete and his wife Tracy on a daily basis. The reset works well for Randy Pedersen. He's red hot.
Boy, just another beautiful shot. Nice loose arm swing. Gets it out to about the 10th board. Just perfect. But you notice the excitement, intensity. It's not very much. He's going to regulate it, save some up for those last few frames. Early 23-pin lead.
Norm Duke dialed in himself. All 10 down in the pit for him. Tuesday, it's the premiere of ESPN Bowling Night. Over the next 6 weeks, 16 pro athletes will trade in their sneakers and cleats for bowling shoes as they compete for an $80,000 purse. Hit the lanes with ESPN's Bowling Night Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN. Available also on ESPN HD. Willis McGahee, Elena Beers, some very talented professional athletes competing there.
We're going to see what Norm Duke does on the left lane. 2-4-10 the last time. Let's just see if he makes a good quality shot. That's exactly what he did.
Norm Duke shreds the rack. He tells us the most important win of his career was the '94 TOC. Can he repeat? From the Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut, the PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions on ESPN is brought to you by Geico. You too could save 15% or more on car insurance. Call Geico at 1-800-947-AUTO. By Bear, the more you know, the more you trust Bear. And by Dexter, the #1 bowling shoe in the world. What's your size? An incredible spectacle of sights and sounds. 300,000 square feet of gaming, a vast array of over 6,300 slot machines and 19 table games here at the Mohegan Sun. Randy Pedersen up 13 pins with a 4-bagger, double for Duke. Second semifinal, the winner takes on Steve Jaros. Typically, this is where Randy Pedersen breaks down someone else's game in our Dexter approach. Today, he takes a look at a game he knows pretty well, his own.
One of the problems I've been having with my game as of late is bad direction, and it's all due to a bad arm swing, an arm swing that's behind me. And on a 51-foot lane pattern, direction is a must. So what I've been working on this week is to try to feel like my swing is a little bit to the outside at the top. And what this has done is it's gotten my arm swing nice and straight, and it's helped me to project the ball on the intended line each and every shot. Let me show you what it looks like. There you go. If I do that a lot today, I might have a chance to win my second major.
We shall see, Randy, if that happens. A Dexter approach done by none other than Randy Pedersen on himself. Strike percentage today.
All right.
In match play, only those are the numbers. 5-bagger possible here, 6 frame for Randy Pedersen.
Real big shot after a lengthy commercial break. Can extend his lead to 23. Extend his hopes.
That's high.
That was the full quad release.
Not his best shot.
Massively grabbed there.
He's trying to hit the 12th board. You heard him, he grabbed it at the bottom of the swing. Fortunate to leave just the 310. Under these situations, it's not the easiest of spares. Probably 50-50 for a pro.
That's it. No, he chopped it an open frame for Randy.
Spare ball that fits.
And that hurts. As he breaks his streak of strikes. As you know, many PBA loyal fans, those who win on PBA Tour, get a banner that travels with the tour from site to site and are posted there. At the end of last season, when Randy failed to earn exempt status, he gave his banner to our producer Mike Roth to take home. He said he wouldn't need it anymore. And as we saw the shot there from our director Scott Katz, darn it, Randy is on the verge of getting
this guy an opening like that.
A banner put up in every bowling center yet again. He's going to want that back.
Just a much better shot, collected himself. Just wants that one back on the right lane. But now Norm Duke. Norm Duke takes a 1-pin advantage sitting on the bench.
Looks here for the turkey, Bryan. 7th frame. Can he take advantage of Randy's open in the 6th? Yes, late tap, down goes number 7.
It's the light hit. We're going to watch the light hit here. Ball takes out the 5. They do a bunch of dancing. 7 goes down at the last second. And that pose from Norm Duke. When he poses like that, it's got a chance.
Norm tells us, Bryan, at 41 years old, the majors get him pumped up now for big moments like none others. See the max numbers there, bottom left of your screen. He said titles are one thing, but the majors are the real deal. That's why he stays so competitive, so active on the PBA Tour. Has another. As the 10 leans and falls late.
Just another beautiful shot from Norm Duke. 8th frame. Extends his lead to 21.
Randy works on a strike here, Bryan. 8th frame, critical moment for Randy.
Critical.
Does he have a strike in him? Yes, he does.
Snaps the 10 out, stays alive.
That was better.
Deficit goes to 13 pins. Excuse me, 11 pins. Great shot. He said all week long, committing to execution. That's his key. He's got to believe that if he makes a good shot, he can strike.
We talked about the text messages from Pete Weber and Tracy. Here's St. Louis. Marshall Holman from Oregon called, among many others, last night to congratulate Randy. They're now watching perhaps the biggest shot of his career. 9th frame.
He got it!
All right. Come on, now give me a chance.
5 spots are set. Who will be number 6? The winner of this event will dictate that. PBA Motel 6 Roll the Riches presented by Geico. Challenge round Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern. The finals Sunday at 3 o'clock Eastern here on ESPN. It should be very exciting. $200,000 for the winner. Winner take all event. Foundation frame. 5-bagger for Duke. Does he have it? Certainly.
Norm Duke showing why he's won 22 titles in his life. Player of the Year, shreds the rack. But if he does not strike on this ball...
please, on 3.
Randy? A lot of things can happen right here.
2 left.
We're going to watch where these two players are bowling. Norm's going to be the blue one. That's the one on the right. Randy Pedersen's the red one. That's the one on the left. Look how close they are, right on top of each other. There's just a little oil between those two guys. And there's also a chance for the title in the 10th frame.
Folks, these shots are life-altering for Randy Pedersen. What happens here? When we get to the final. Closing in is Oh my goodness, the late tap on number 10, and she slowly, tantalizingly falls down into the pit. Incredible.
There's a shot to make. That's 257.
He's
9
looking at the
spares
score.
9 spares to tie. We have to strike to win. Come on. Nothing's happened yet. Come on.
Randy was not watching last night. Turned away from his round of 8 match with Ryan Schaefer. He won that in 4. A strike to shut out our Randy Pedersen and end his dream to regain his tour card for now. Ten-pin.
The drama continues.
Wow.
Here we go.
With the spare.
Well, he knew it had a chance. He's saying, please, just get the 10 out. Get the 10 out. No. No. This is an important spare, folks, because if he misses the spare, which Norm probably will not, but if he misses the spare, Randy can still tie him. But
all right,
gets the spare,
takes care of the mark, forcing Randy.
Randy needs 3 strikes to tie.
And that would send us into a roll-off where Norm Duke has owned his opponents. Wow. There's one.
He got one.
Norm Duke has done his job. Can Randy Pedersen answer? He needs 2 strikes to force a roll-off.
Notice the emotion.
Like a
He's
re-rack,
keeping
please.
it all inside.
How many is that now? Is that 2?
Execution. A perfectly executed shot. Good balance, but he's got to do it 2 more times. He's not thinking about twice right now. He's thinking about 1 time. 1 more strike.
Brian, this is a man who was in tears with us last night, telling us how he deserves, he feels he is still talented enough to compete on the PBA Tour. Now he must step up and prove it. He's done well in this lane.
Still.
Someone's
Please.
moving or
Okay.
clicking a camera.
Young man in the yellow, I see you. Okay, buddy, just perfectly still like a little statue.
Unbelievable. Randy is maintaining his composure here and instructing the fans.
Second. Unbelievable shot.
He needs 1 more to force a sudden death roll-off. Can Randy Pedersen do it? His career regaining his tour card is going to come down to 1 shot. As the PA announcer reminds the fans,
Now, if you're Norm Duke, you're anticipating he's going to get this shot. He's got to prepare himself. And if you're Randy Pedersen, it's total commitment. Exactly what he said he had to do.
You can do it. You can make a good shot here. Good shot.
his career on the line. 7-pin!
Oh! Hey, thanks, dude. Hey,
leaves the 7-pin.
That was great. Hey, good job up there. I see you. Good job up there.
A lot of class, pal. You hear that? A lot of class, pal.
What a terrible break. It wasn't a terrible shot, but somebody, folks, back home, somebody moved up there just what he didn't want to see. Duke wins by 1 pin.
Absolutely unbelievable drama here in Connecticut. Norm Duke by 1 pin. Advances to the final. He'll take on Steve Jaros, and the dream ends for Randy Pedersen. Our colleague on ESPN falls just short.
Time Warner Cable this season, including all matchups between the Mets and the Yankees. Come on, Cablevision. Give every game back to New York.
Welcome back, everyone. The PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions here in Uncasville, Connecticut. Unbelievable drama unfolding. Remember, Randy Pedersen needed this strike to force a sudden death roll-off with Norm Duke. Let's listen carefully. Did a fan yell in Randy's backswing?
You know, when you're an athlete and when you're in this kind of situation, all you want is a fair shot. And Randy felt like he got slighted a little bit. Somebody up there did something to him.
Hey, good job up there.
.256 to .255, an incredible finish. And you see the Motel 6 Roll the Riches presented by Geico contestants. The 3 winners of the majors are in already. Fan vote for Jones and Duke. Now Mika Kuavanemi really needs Norm Duke to win to become the 4th major winner. So he's in because he is the last of the voting category. And we do roll on. Next weekend, the Motel 6 Roll the Riches, a new high-stakes winner-take-all competition featuring 6 PBA Tour All-Stars. The winner walks away with $200,000. Coverage starts Saturday, the challenge round, and Sunday, the finals. Let's go to Leslie Goodell, joined by Patrick Allen.
Well, Patrick Allen certainly deserves to be there after the season that he's had. $200,000, winner-take-all, 6 bowlers. How do you like that format?
Well, it's going to be exciting. You know, one guy's going to go home really happy, and the other 5 guys are, you know, going to get their expenses paid. I think everyone gets $5,000 to go, but that's definitely not $200.
Well, Player of the Year honors is something else we have to talk about because there's really 2 people in line to win this. Tommy Jones has won 4 tournaments this year. You've won 3, except one of them is a major. How do you see that whole thing playing out?
Well, it really comes down to the players. You know, it's a player's vote for Player of the Year, and Tommy, you know, I had him on the ropes there in the second half, and he won 2 tournaments there at the end to get right back in it. And fortunately, last week I got back on the radar screen, so I guess it's going to come down to the players.
He's had a terrific season, Patrick. Thank you very much for joining us. Dave, back to you.
Leslie, voting will take place in the off-season. Sometime late summer, we should find out if Patrick Allen wins Player of the Year. The final coming up from the TOC.
A major
bobblehead. Get a free PDW bobblehead and save $10 on tax preparation at jacksonhewitt.com/PDW.
Because you can never get enough PDW.
Norm Duke, Steve Jaros, who will bid for his first ever PBA Major Championship. That is coming up in the final. Part of a lot of great bowling programming here on ESPN. Bowling continues next Tuesday on ESPN with the premiere of ESPN's Bowling Night. 16 professional athletes will trade in their sneakers and cleats for bowling shoes to compete over the next 6 weeks for an $80,000 purse. On Tuesday, Willis McGahee of the Buffalo Bills faces Elena Beard from the WNBA Washington Mystics. Paul Mara of the NHL Phoenix Coyotes and Ephraim Salam from the Jacksonville Jaguars of the NFL. Hosts Mike Greenberg and Mike Golick from ESPN Radio's Mike and Mike in the Morning add to the fun. It's bowling. It's a great time. It's ESPN's Bowling Night starting next Tuesday at 8 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. We look forward to that as we look forward to our final. Norm Duke, Steve Jaros, Brian Voss. Let's check in with the Geico Direct Championship recap.
Earlier in semifinal number 1, it was Steve Jaros defeating Bryan Goebel by the score 247 to 186.
Great bowling this week. Awesome. Great bowling. Thank you. Thank you.
In semifinal number 2 was Norm Duke defeating Randy Pedersen by the score of 256 to 255. Heartbreaking. Randy needed all 3 strikes, but fell short by 1 pin.
Unbelievable drama. The finalists are ready. Norm Duke, Steve Jaros, joined by Leslie Goodell.
Well, this is the first time that Steve Jaros has been in the finals of a major championship. I'm sure you're a little nervous. What do you have to do to win?
Well, obviously make great shots. You know, it's going to take great shot making, and you know, you got to get a few breaks that go your way as well. You know, lanes transition a little bit there. The good news is we make more than 1 ball, and I think I got something like it that'll work. And just make 10 good shots, see what happens.
Well, I know, Norm, that you said a lot of this has to do with heart, and at this point, you have won so many championships that it's the majors that really get your juices flowing. So how are you feeling right now?
My juices are flowing. I can't. I'm having a hard time figuring out which seat I'm in, and I'm there right now.
A lot on the line, $100,000 and a 2-year exemption. Dave?
There is so much to be won here, Leslie, no question. And congratulations to Tori Torgerson, because Randy and Bryan Goebel, the non-exempt bowlers, lost. That means Tori is exempt for next season.
Well, Steve Jaros needs to stay focused, stay within himself. Norm Duke anticipating the lane change. He's been doing that all week, rely on his instinct. But I tell you what, for $100,000, a 2-year exemption, it's all about heart and guts right now. 1-game match, winner take all. Norm winning the coin toss, he forces Steve to start, so he'll finish the match also.
A bit of a light hit in the switch zone there. And a 2-pin for Steve Jaros, who comes to us from Yorkville, Illinois, near Chicago. 33rd career TV appearance for Steve Jaros.
Steve should have no problem with the spare, hard and straight.
Care of it. And we are joined again by Randy Pedersen, familiar spot in the booth. Randy, for you, we're very sorry to see how that match ended. What happened?
Well, I got up in the throw my 3rd shot, and somebody coughed in the crowd and caught me in my 4th step. Couldn't stop, and kind of missed it just a hair at the bottom. It was, I mean, it had a chance to strike, but it wasn't my best shot I could have thrown, and ended up costing me by 1 pin, Dave.
Norm Duke starts the final in style. Bryan, Randy, we've got our Baby Ruth Real Deal matchup. Brian Voss, let's start with you here.
Well, we look at their averages, very close. Norm out-averaging them by about 4 pins. Strike percentage almost the same, but look at the spares, Randy.
Yeah, but you know what? When it comes to television, I think an edge has to go to Norm Duke. He's a tremendous future Hall of Famer, and he is really, really good under the heat.
Yes.
He told us, gentlemen, he just loves the pressure-packed situations like this. At 41 years old, it's why he bowls at this level. That's off the mark slightly as well.
Wow.
2-5 surprises Norm Duke.
Chasing too quick.
Well, we saw this all week long. Players would be lined up and they'd throw a couple shots and say, okay, I'm going to move a little bit left, and then they come up light. They were a little confused.
And we use so much surface all week long that when your ball goes high a little bit and you move off it, you're afraid to touch the holes for fear of it checking early and going high.
Exactly.
He does take care of the mark. Special hello and a thank you to Walt Nazinski, president of Dexter Shoe Company. Great to see Walt and his staff out here this week. Our title sponsor for the PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions. Well, Randy, from all of us, congratulations on what was a great week, an incredibly dramatic finish there, and we wish you could have certainly forced that roll-off to make things more interesting, but it was a great run for you.
Thanks, Dave. You know, Brian, I bowled next to Steve Jaros when he was bowling against Mika, and just every time you thought that Steve was out of it, man, he'd come back and just bowl a tremendous game. He'd shoot 270. I mean, he'd go 180, 270. And just when it looked like it wasn't going to work for him, he found a way to make it work.
Well, he's a champion, you know, and I tell you what, the last 4 weeks really showed what kind of a heart and guts he's got. He wasn't exempt. He's been bowling real go. He's got a lot of momentum going right now.
6-time titleist. Perfect there. Direct path to the pocket for Steve Jaros. Last year, 3 championships, the only player on tour to win 3 times. And what a surprise it's been to drop to the level of nearly missing exemption.
Beautiful shot right there, right around the 11th board, a little farther right than where Randy was playing, and Norm.
Steve has done a lot of work with video. He's gone back to some of his prior matches. He carries that Indianapolis championship from last year with him on DVD and watches on his computer for a positive mindset. Oh my, how about this for Norm Duke, the dreaded 710.
The dreaded 710. Randy, did you see that at all this week?
I didn't, because I had pretty good angle to the pocket all week. I didn't have to move in and circle it. And right now, forget about the 710. Norm is in trouble. I mean, his angle to the pocket right now is not good. And Steve Jaros has somehow found a way to keep the ball nice and straight and on line.
Only made 3 times in history, and not a 4th here today as Norm Duke takes care of the 10-pin. Steve Jaros watched that DVD again last night and this morning to remind himself about proper technique, good approach, arm swing, and most of all, watching himself win. I mean, just that positive reinforcement has to be important.
Well, when you go up and throw a 710, there's really nothing you can do. You just regroup. You know that it's early. It's only the 3rd frame. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, Norm's got some serious mental fortitude as well.
Great lane level look from our crew as he blitzes the rack. Our exciting final continues from the Mohegan Sun Casino and Resort in Uncasville, Connecticut when we return.
Nearly.
The PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions from the Mohegan Sun on ESPN is brought to you by Denny's. Try one of Denny's new hearty scrambles. The meat lovers or the Heartland Scramble, each just $4.99. Denny's, we're cooking now. By Miller High Life, to live simply, proudly, boldly, manly. This is the High Life. By Uniroyal Tires, the official tire of the PBA Tour. Uniroyal Tires, trusted by American families since 1892. And by Dexter, the #1 bowling shoe in the world. What's your size? We just saw that spectacular 7-story waterfall located at the shops at Mohegan Sun here. Jaros and Duke. Steve Jaros has a 23-pin lead in the final, looking for his first ever major championship. Randy, let's look at the Uniroyal Tire Rock and Roll.
Okay, Dave, if you insist. This is semifinal number 2 against me. I'm looking for a little help. Norm's conversion of the 2-4-10 shuts the door, and Norm is looking for a major title today.
Would be his 3rd PBA major championship. However, Steve Jaros looking for the turkey here. 4th frame.
Can increase his lead to 33 pins early.
He's had a good look so far. Continues. 10 down in the pit for Steve Jaros. Special hello to Bob Yalen, Director of Sports and Entertainment here at the Mohegan Sun. This arena is something else. State of the art. Hosted professional basketball, boxing, ultimate fighting, and for the last 3 seasons, the PBA Tour.
What a beautiful facility and just an awesome arena. Everything about this place is very magical.
This could be a magical strike to increase his lead.
43, and he gets it. Oh, late help on number 4, Bryan. And Steve just loves that for a 4-bagger. Arena final appearances. Legendary Walter Ray Williams Jr. tops the list. Hall of Famer Parker Bowe III not far behind. Norm's had success here, but Steve Jaros, until today, hasn't won a match in an arena.
Yeah, but I mean, Walter Ray, 19 arena finals. That's not a big number. The guy's made 150 shows.
Perfect shot, Norm Duke.
All right, maybe that is a big number, Bryan, because we didn't start bowling arena finals until, what, 98, 97?
Yeah, late
Dennis
90s.
Rand won the first one ever. You see Norm Duke going high flush. And Bryan, to me right now, Norm is in kind of that can't miss situation. He needs to he needs to strike and strike a lot from here on out.
Well, you just feel like he's going to make a good shot. He's been posing up there. He's got that 7-10 out of his mind. He knows it's far from over, but he's got himself a little hole, and he needs to start climbing out with a strike here.
Looking to close the gap to 23 pins with the turkey. Has it? Yeah! Check up.
Let's take a look at the beautiful style of Norm Duke. And what I really like is right here in the second step. See how he pushes the ball away but keeps his shoulders back? Shoulder high backswing, great finish at the bottom. And Norm has got all the tricks, Bryan. And Bryan, what do you think is Norm's biggest asset physically?
Well, number one, he's a champion. He believes in himself, his versatility. He's got a great understanding about mechanics. But right now, Steve Jaros working on 4 in a row, looking for 5.
Has it. 5-bagger into the 6th frame for Steve Jaros, who continues this unlikely, remarkable climb from just about a month ago, having almost no chance of being exempt for next year. Needed a series of breaks and a great finish to get there. He's clinched a spot, but barely. 1 below the cut line at number 38. Now, he's on the verge of a 2-year exemption, $100,000. This is an amazing story.
Wow. Yeah, that's really all I could say, too, is wow. I mean, he's bringing the heater, Ricky, and he's just piping it straight at the 1-3.
2 beautiful shots. This looked like a carbon copy of the one before.
6 straight for Steve Jaros, who told us last night he could not watch Chris Loschetter last week against Patrick Allen in the final of the Denny's PBA World Championship, because had Loschetter won as a non-exempt bowler, Steve Jaros would have been out for sure. But PA got his major championship. Jaros gets his exemption, and now he's closing in on a major title. ESPN's coverage of PBA bowling rolls on next weekend with a Motel 6 Roll the Riches presented by Geico, a new high-stakes winner-take-all competition featuring 6 PBA Tour All-Stars. The winner walks away with $200,000. Coverage begins next Saturday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time, continues Sunday at 3. PBA Tour on ESPN. Who will it be? Mika Koivuniemen right now is the biggest Norm Duke fan there is because he was voted in should Norm win this major championship, become our 4th major winner. If it's Jaros, Duke is in via the vote. Mika's out.
Norm working on a 257 max. He knows if he misses, which he hasn't, right back in the match. There's a little fire in that little guy.
5-bagger for Norm Duke, who's all of 5'6", about 130 pounds.
You know, there's one thing for certain. Listen to this.
Don't go nowhere!
Yeah, we're not gonna. But you know, there's one thing for sure. When you bowl Norm Duke on TV, you better pack a lunch because he's going to give you all you want.
Oh, yeah.
Jaros.
Are you kidding me?
8-pin, can you believe it?
Are you kidding me? And he didn't even flinch. Watch this, ball goes right by it. With a spare here, Jaros can still strike out shoot 269 no matter what Norm does. He can't be shut out, but he didn't even flinch.
Well, what goes around comes around. We remember the 7-10 on the same lane. Bad break for Norm, bad break for Steve. Anybody's game right now. Couple of frames to go.
Steve Jaros, a player who figured in that time frame when he wouldn't be exempt, he might be cutting lawns, working in a pro shop back home in Chicagoland. Well, now he's definitely exempt. Just an unbelievable story.
It's a really big shot because if he strikes here and Norm goes all the way off the sheet, he'll only need 1 strike and good count in the 10th frame. If he doesn't strike here, if he gets less than 7, Norm can go up and shut him out. All kinds of things on this shot.
It's a big one. Foundation frame. 10-pin.
Man, almost 8-10.
That was almost an 8-10.
Not bad, not bad. Come on.
All right, well, hey, he's still in business because a spare here, he can strike out and shut out Norm Duke. This one here is almost 8.
Just, you know, a little firm, a little quick, didn't quite catch it all. we've got a match.
Great look by a Skycam.
Now, no matter what Norm Duke does, if he strikes out, he'll shoot 257. Steve Jaros can shoot 258. If Norm does not strike on this ball, he'll be in the 230s. Steve Jaros would only need to fill in the 10th frame. So anything can happen. But this ball right here, huge, huge shot for Norm Duke.
Don't think he doesn't know the score.
Has it. Absolutely huge shot, Norm Duke. The PBA Senior Tour gets its 2005 season underway. This weekend, Latham, New York, just outside of Albany. PBA Hall of Famers Johnny Petraglia, George Pappas, among others. Along with the reigning PBA Senior Player of the Year, Bob Glass, headlined the field as the senior circuit kicks off its 11-event season. For the complete PBA Senior Tour schedule, log on to PBA.com.
Well, we're into the 10th frame, Norm. It's the same situation. If he doesn't strike on this ball, he'll be in the 230s. Steve would only need to spare a strike in the 10th. If he gets this strike, he'll be in the 240s. It'll be even closer.
7-bagger, perhaps. Yes!
Chip the 4! How about a chip 4, brother? Hey, is it starting to shape up or look like maybe Norm Duke Day?
Steve had his own little trip 4 earlier. I'm just kind of hoping a little bit. Ooh, thank you, thank you.
Bryan, trip 4 now. Go. He needs another hit. Well, he needs 2 more hits to force Jaros to strike out.
Exactly.
He goes high here, trips 4. What would you do?
He's probably going to move about a 1/4 of an inch left and just make sure it gets off his hand clean. 8 out of 11 strikes on this lane. He wants 9 out of 12. This to force Steve Jaros to double.
Big 4.
It looked like he may have needed to make a move after he tripped 4. It was a pretty good shot. Bryan, to me, what is it? This looks like it's left. And the ball just duck hooks in the back end. What do you think?
Man, I like that off my hands.
He liked it. He said he liked it off his hands, meaning he probably moved a little left, made sure he just fed it to the right, but it just checked up on him.
Second time, guys, we've seen this on our show today. As we mentioned earlier, it's only been made once in PBA Tour history on TV this year.
He's looking at the
Williams
score.
Jr.
Steve Jaros needs a mark.
That's it.
No matter if Norm makes this or not.
More history. Wow. Oh, he got 3 of the 4. And the 4-pin stands for Norm Duke.
242.
Jaros needs a good count to mark.
Well, for Steve Jaros, what an end to kind of a very, very difficult season for him. He's certainly done well in the last few weeks, but he needs a mark. Any kind of a spare or strike, he'd certainly like to do it in 1 ball, a strike. And he will win this year's Tournament of Champions, $100,000 and a 2-year exemption.
Unbelievable, Bryan. Yes. Dave, this guy didn't think he was going to have a job about a month ago, and now he's your Tournament of Champions champion.
Incredible moment for Steve Jaros. Wife June, the twins are going to get a very early birthday present. They turn 6 May 25th. Just needs 5.
Yes! Yeah! Evan, Hannah, it's for you guys. I love you. Yes.
Kids, there's your birthday present. Dad is a major champion for the first time in his career as Steve Jaros takes the 2005 PBA Dexter Tournament of Champions.
Oh. That makes up for a long season right there. What an end.
Does it ever, Steve? first win of the season, first career major, and Steve Jaros does it. A month ago, he wasn't sure if he'd have a job. Now he's a major winner. He's got a job all right for 2 more years on the PBA Tour.
North.
What you've gotten there?
A tremendous relief. It's been a goal of mine forever. And, you know, first off, I'd definitely like to thank Dexter for their support of the tournament. And thanks to the Mohegan Sun. I can't think of a better place to win my lucky 7th title than at the Mohegan Sun. It's been fantastic.
You've got a 2-year exemption and $100,000. Which one means more to you?
You know what? The money eventually is going to get spent, but I'm guaranteed that I got 2 years out here on tour and get many more chances at it. So I think right now, I think the job security is a little higher on the list.
Congratulations. He told us yesterday he was the most relaxed guy out here. I had this feeling that he's got a little bit of nerves and a little bit of excitement going now. Dave?
The youngster of our 4-man field here at 39 years old, Steve Jaros, a major winner for the first time in his career. He is safe for 2 more years on tour. Congratulations go to Steve Jaros. Now my partners, Brian Voss, Randy Pedersen, Leslie Goodell, our entire ESPN crew. Thanks for joining us during this great regular season. It's Dave Ryan saying so long. Be sure to join us again next weekend here on ESPN for the Motel 6 for All the Riches from Fort Worth, Texas, presented by Geico. Coverage begins Saturday at 1 Eastern, continues Sunday at 3 Eastern. It's been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Coming up next, it's college baseball as #1 Texas, led by legendary coach Augie Garrido, takes on 10th-ranked Nebraska. So long from Connecticut.